So, how about your aunt?
Oh, yeah.
She's just moved, apparently, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems very happy.
Oh, definitely.
I think it's nice that, you get to a certain age and you're just like, I can't really be bothered with relationships anymore. Just gonna live with my friend.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think it's the future, considering, the housing market.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can't necessarily rely on marriage or anything like that. Just
Exactly.
live with a friend. Whoever you can bear to live with for a long period of
Exactly.
time. It doesn't have to be romantic. But yeah, it is a small little place they've got, though, isn't it?
I mean, it's a little small, I know.
One bedroom.
Well, yeah, you can fit two people in one bedroom.
Yep. And it's nice that they're always together, though.
I mean, it is very nice that those two definitely friends and nothing else they've always got each other. That's very lovely.
Very good friends. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice that there's a lot of good friends. Good friends. Definitely not queer and pleasant strangers. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Eris Magnet, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's that show where two queer trans ladies catch up every week and go, hey, what media did you consume this week?
What media did you consume this week?
I played some things.
What did you play?
Should we jump right into the things we've played?
Tell us the thing you played.
Oh, I don't have the list ready. You know what? I'm going to start with something we've both played, but I've played more of than you, I think. I played through 12 minutes.
Oh, through 12 minutes?
Oh, I have seen how that game ends.
You don't sound...
Well, we'll talk about the bits we've both played,
Okay.
and then I might go into 30 seconds of spoilers for a thing. But, yeah, so 12 minutes is a point-and-click sort of puzzle game in a time loop.
An escape room, essentially.
Yeah, you are trapped in a at most 12-minute long time loop, usually shorter than that. If you get injured, the time loop stops. If you
go out the front door.
Yeah, go out the front door, it reloops, and you're trying to work out what's going on. Why is time looping? There's this man bashing at your door, being like, "Hey, your wife murdered her dad. What's up with that?"
And I'm a cop.
I'm a cop.
I'm not sure if he is a cop or not. That became more questionable the longer I played that game.
Yeah, and it becomes apparent quickly that there is some stuff being kept secret, and you're trying to work out how to manipulate this very enclosed space and this very short time loop to get the information you're looking for. Mechanically, I found it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Performances were good. It was well acted. It's very dark and tense in places and intense.
Very,
yeah.
All the trigger warnings.
Oh, you don't even fucking know.
You don't even know, because I basically spent a lot of time, it was nice that my chat are good about it, because I streamed this on Thursday last week. My chat were every time a new person was like, "Hi, I'm here to watch the game," and everyone was like, "Trigger warnings for everything."
Yes, so before I get onto a brief bit of spoilery talk about the spoilery things, because honestly I feel like usually I'm one where it's like, go look up the spoilers if you want to see them yourself. I feel like it's important to just fucking share them on this one. What did you think of what you played of it?
It's a bit bleak.
Mm.
It got bleaker the more I played of it. Especially when I was like, I just need a quick out. I'll just cap myself in the head rather than walking out the front door. I was like, this takes a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
And distressing, finicky in some ways. Definitely not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah. Do you mind spoilers? Because,
Not really.
skip forward 30 to 60 seconds, listeners, if you don't want to know spoilers about this game, but I feel like I should just fucking talk about it.
Now.
Okay, so there was that Pendulum of the Dead, or whatever it was called, that escape room in a box.
Yep.
It's one of those kind of things.
Oh.
The whole game is in the head of the main character, who is
Oh.
the real person who murdered the dad. He is fucking his wife, who is his sister. You know, there's the whole, like, did you get far enough to be like, oh, she's got a brother, that she,
No.
like a half-brother?
I didn't get that far.
Slightly after where you
I
got
got to the fact that, hey, it's very possible that
Yeah.
she didn't do it because the death happened on New Year's, and she did shoot him at Christmas. Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
the whole game is a psychosis that the main character is having while he tries to emotionally rationalize fucking his sister, who is his wife, and the fact that their dad didn't want their incestuous relationship to be a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we stopped talking about it. So,
There we go. Yeah.
That
That was about 60 seconds we did.
Yeah, that was 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's a briefly summarized version of where it goes, but like it's
Wow.
yes, when it becomes that and it's like, oh, this is what's actually happening, it just gets very starkly about that for a while.
Huh.
Yeah. There's some nuance I've skipped over there because we had a time limit, but yeah, that game's a lot.
Yes, it is.
You see now why I compared it to that one other game I started by comparing it to, and that it's one of those.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Well.
So 12 minutes. Interesting premise. I'm not sure I'm a fan of where it ends up.
Yikes.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been playing this week?
I played the Quake remaster.
How was that?
It's Quake.
Yeah.
I never really got into Quake as a kid. It was one of those games that I got, and very much like the way I'd played Doom most of the time, was I got it, I activated the console, and I cheated a lot.
I mean, that's, I think, how a lot of people did so.
And I was still very confused by how to get through the ending, partly because I'd never done the first boss. Like, I feel if you've done the first boss, you can establish that, hey, there is something more to how this is done than shooting it. Because obviously playing previous sorts of FPS games is like, I just shoot the boss until it dies. No, I jump through a teleporter, and then because I teleport inside the thing, then I win. Because telefrags are only really sort of made a thing if you play the multiplayer.
Yes.
So you'd really only understand the concept of telefrag if you played the multiplayer.
A little bit, yeah.
So I played through like the traditional or the base campaign, the original part of that.
Yeah.
I was like, that was all right. I was impressed that I got through it. I think it helped that I wasn't immediately trying to like cheat and then do the activate the nightmare mode.
Yeah. You were going through the intended progression path, and as such, learning more about how to play.
And on easy. Yeah, there's some like interesting mechanic stuff in that. Stuff I hadn't really thought about in games before, like the concept of like you shoot an enemy and they stagger, but they don't necessarily die. Some of the character models are kind of basic, I guess, but about as good as it could have been back then, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember what year that would have come out, but
I seem to remember it being quite advanced for its time.
yeah, it was alright.
holds up
It's very
alright.
brown.
Yeah.
I've started playing, sort of half-assedly playing through one of the other bonus packs.
Yeah.
It's in there because I think there's like 5 different things you can play. You can play the original Quake and then like 4 other 3 expansions and then the Machine Games expansion that they did sometime later, like fairly recently, I believe. So I started the second one. Was like, I very much like the level design in this. It feels like they've got a very consistent theme going on, and I like that about it. Whereas some of the original stuff was like, this is kind of cool, I guess, but it doesn't feel quite as consistent as some of the other stuff.
It felt like they were working out that kind of first-person shooter design sort of as they went along a little bit.
And in many ways, they probably were.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was Quake. What about you?
I played a much more interesting narrative adventure game this week.
Ooh.
I think it was a lot more interesting than 12 minutes. I played through Road 96,
Ooh.
which is a narrative adventure about a series of teenagers in... It's never explicitly said to be America, but it's very clearly America, trying to cross across the border. And there is some... There's a little bit of vagueness around what's going on, but what is clear is that there is a tyrannical despot that has come into power. They are very much implied to be a sort of right-wing Donald Trump-esque.
Well, it's set in, what, 96? That would have been George H.W. Bush, I think?
It could have been... his name's Tyrak, he's a fictional person, but he's very much that sort of right-wing, authoritarian, Fox News loves him kind of president. And there's a lot of teenagers trying to get across the border before the next election rolls around, because it's very clear that either he's going to consolidate power and probably, start increasing term limits and sticking around and becoming very difficult to get rid of, or there's probably going to be pretty severe civil unrest in the country as a result of whoever replaces him. And in particular for these teenagers, there is this looming threat of teenagers who try and get out the country are rumoured to end up in forced labour camps. And as such, you're making a bunch of decisions as you do a road trip across, definitely not America, to try and get across the border.
And what did you play this on?
I played this on Switch.
Okay.
It's on other platforms as well. Largely, the Switch version is very good. I will get to the one problem with it in a little bit.
Yeah, because I watched Steph's video about this earlier,
yes.
and I was wondering how you had found
the
control system.
We'll get to the controls in it in a little bit.
In which case, you said you played through it. Have you played through it just the once? Or?
I've played through from what I would say is the start to finish of the game, which is like 8 runs through the game. I think it's several runs, but there is. So the way it's structured is that it's procedurally generated, and you will come across pre-made scenes, but you will come across them in different orders, and depending on which choices you make, some of the scenes you won't see at all and whatnot. And each run through of the game, where you're trying to get one teen across the border, takes about an hour to play through, and when you finish that, you pick up as a new teen a couple of weeks later in the run-up to the election, and their separate journey from a different part of the US to try and cross the same border. And there is a certain number of runs, and I think it's somewhere around 8 runs, before, you have reached the date of the election, choices you have made as all these characters are going to impact sort of where you end up. I've played through one full run, and then I played through, the start of a second set of 8 runs, just to be I was very curious, how do I put this? Each time you start as a new character, you see wildly different stuff. It is all completely different scenes. It's described as being procedurally generated and a bit like a roguelike, but there's no repeating of content from episode 1 to episode 2 to episode 3. But within a given episode, like the first episode, the first teenager who's trying to cross the border, depending the order you meet certain characters, you'll get completely different scenes with them. A good example of this being the first time I did episode 1, trying to get my first teen across the border, I met this cop who was on a bus and was transporting a teen to the police station because they were like, my car got destroyed, terrorists tried to blow my car up, I'm now having to take this teen on a bus, and I used that time on this bus to try and convince the other bus passengers to all shout ACAB at the cop a bunch. But then, second time I played episode 1, I met the cops slightly earlier in their journey. I ended up getting arrested by her and being in the car when it got exploded, because I bumped into her earlier in her journey. It seems like there is a lot of room for different scenes that I just have not come across, which is really nice. Let's talk about the controls. So, it's largely a pick the dialogue options to do, walk around, there's occasionally some fun mini-games to do. When you're choosing dialogue options, you have to point the camera at the dialogue option you would like to pick and press a button. And that's usually fine, except occasionally characters will be walking while you're talking to them, and their dialogue boxes for the various dialogue options will sort of bounce up and down with them a little bit. This is particularly a problem when there's one character who's drunk, stumbling in a desert, and he is making some quite severe lurches around, which make it quite difficult to click on exactly the dialogue option you want to on Switch. I suspect on PC, probably a little easier, still not ideal, I would imagine. But honestly, that's the biggest complaint I had about the game, is occasionally, in a couple of rare instances, dialogue options were a little fiddly to pick correctly. I really enjoyed all the characters you meet across your runs. I very much like the way that... I felt like all the choices I'd made across my various runs built up towards an ending that was what I wanted the ending to be. It feels like ultimately there's probably three sort of paths you might end up going along, which are, do you work towards protest and civil unrest and like we will not stand for what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Do you push for voter reform and try and vote in someone better and go for that route? Or do you lean into what's already happening and take a very I'm just going to get myself out and nothing else really matters approach? The three broad strokes paths you sort of look at, but individual branches within that are pretty broad, and yeah, I had a really fun time playing this. It was really gripping. I like that each playthrough, getting a character to the border or across it, is maybe an hour long, maybe a little over an hour, which is a very digestible amount of time to be like, yeah, I could do another run of that. I know roughly how long this will take.
Yeah.
Makes it very manageable to play in bite-sized chunks. There's a pair of characters I absolutely love who are a pair of masked robbers on a motorcycle who are just a lot of fun. They're delightful. They seem a little chaotic, but I want to be their friends. There's a sort of Fox News-esque news reporter who has some issues she's trying to work out. There's a trucker who is being a bit secretive about what's in the back of his truck. And they're all very well put together characters. I enjoy them a lot.
Yay.
It's a good game.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you played this week?
We played some board games.
We did. What board games did we play?
We played some Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Yeah, we're replaying Pandemic Legacy Season 1 because
Kind of.
we have some friends who... How many years ago did they?
Whatever year Pandemic Legacy Season 1 came out. So, I think I've mentioned this on the show before. We talked last year about the fact that we were playing through Pandemic Legacy, all the Pandemic Legacy games. So, I started playing through Pandemic Legacy Season 1 with a group of friends locally. We all threw some cash in and got ourselves a copy. We played through our first game, and when we came to do the end of month stuff, we realised that we had been shipped the wrong dossiers. They were all in French, I think, or German. So we contacted the publisher, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, this happened with a bunch of the games. We'll send you another copy." So they sent us They sent us new copies. So a few months went by. It's like, okay, we'll play again. And almost immediately, at beginning to play, we realised that we hadn't finished properly setting up or closing down the game at the end of it. So we were like, we've got new dossiers, we've got a whole new set of stickers. Shall we just basically restart the game?
Yeah, makes sense.
Cool. Okay, let's do that. So we've replayed the first month of January and we lost. And then we replayed January again, and that time we won. So we moved into February. And then a month later, we all gathered together in the same place and we played through February and we won. And then 4 or 5 years passed.
It's going to be at least 4 years because it was before we were living together.
Yes. So it would have been 2016, 2017, something like
that.
Yes. That's how that worked out.
Yes.
And I've been on at them to sort of like, hey, do you want to try and get together? There is one from that original group who is very difficult to wrangle. He has had some personal problems. We do not hold it against him, but it has made it very difficult to get that same group together.
Yeah.
And in the last year or so, I've been saying, like, hey, we finished it, it's really good. Why don't the two of you that live together just play it.
with
Like,
us.
just all play it on your own.
Play it on your own, yeah.
Like, I encourage them to try and play it on their own. Just like, fuck it. We played 2 together. We had a great time.
Playing it 2-player.
We didn't need more than 2 people.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with it. Definitely recommend it. See the story. The story is fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's such a waste to let, I think, because we bought it brand new, like 75 quid's worth of game.
Yeah.
Just sit gathering dust on a shelf. Especially when the 2 of them were, locked down and stuff.
Mm.
So they played 2 more months of this. And that apparently went pretty well.
Yeah.
And then the weekend they were like, we brought it over. Shall we play together? So we played through May and then June twice, I think.
Yes, yeah. We won May, lost the first June, won the second June.
Yes.
June is a particularly tricky month for some reasons. There are some threats that we did not have many ways to deal with.
Ew.
I'm very glad we had a dedicated character dealing with the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But, I continue to really enjoy Pandemic Legacy.
It's great.
It's fantastic. It's very fun playing through it with people who don't know where it's going, and we're just here like, oh, you make the decisions. What do you think we should do,
I've
everyone?
been very keen not to sort of give anything away, not to suggest anything. Like, the first time we played it through, I was very adamant. I was like, I don't want the military involved. This is a medical emergency. Yeah. Don't get the military. And this time I'm being a bit more like,
Yeah, if you want to get the military involved, go ahead.
I mean, do you think the military are the best people to solve medical emergency? But, it is entirely their choice, and I don't want to influence that too much, but... you guys open all the doors and do all the stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
They had at some point dropped their legacy deck, so I rearranged that for them.
Yes, we had a bit of a kerfuffle our first game, getting everything in order. There were some pieces that were behind a door, and we didn't know, we hadn't seen the card that said to open that door.
Yeah, we had like an hour of fucking about.
Yeah.
Sorting the game out to be playable.
Yes, but we got it going.
Yeah, we got it going.
We had a great time.
We did. We played 3 games. We didn't end up having much other time to play board games. Apart from that, we did wrangle a round of Kitten.
Yes, the game where you turn over a card and it's like, quick, grab the little wooden kittens and balance them in a certain design as quick as you can. Yeah.
And I was awarded Chief Cat Cuddler.
Yay!
I was surprised how well I did with that.
Hooray!
That was one of the other games we played. We played Kitten.
Yeah.
It's short, sweet. I think we knocked the whole game out in about 10 minutes, if that.
It's a very quick game.
It is. So there you go. If you ever need an excuse to play with cats, Kitten is your option there. You got anything else?
Yeah. So I played a bit more Train Simulator this week because since last week, I am now a moderator of the speedrun.com Train Simulator board, which has involved doing the thing that I ended up doing with Cook and Mama Cookstar a fair amount, where it's like, okay, now that I have some measure of control within this little community, let's work out setting the rules that no one has bothered to work out or set in the past. So here's the thing about Train Simulator. There is a weird bug with Train Simulator when it runs below certain frame rates, where if it dips below certain frame rates, the in-game timer will slow down.
Right.
And this is obviously important for speedrun purposes to know about, because, what was unclear initially is it was very clear that, the standard for most games when you speedrun them is using something called Live Split, which is a real-world timer that is a good, accurate timer that records your time. For this game, the previous mods had decided that the way to do this was going to be using the in-game timer, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But once we realised that, the in-game time and the live split time are going out of sync with each other, clearly something's up with the in-game timer in Train Simulator. And the question was, when frame rates dip and the timer does something weird, is the game itself slowing down with the timer, or is the timer slowing down separately from the game?
Okay.
Because what I guess mean by that is, if, let's say, when you go under 15 frames a second, the game clock slows down, but the train slows down moving to compensate, then if both of them are slowing down, that's fine. Use the in-game timer. That's going to be the most consistent way to get an accurate result of how quickly you did it.
Yeah.
If the in-game timer is slowing down, but the train is continuing to move at the same speed, you'd have to use something like live split, because otherwise your in-game timer will be out of sync with the time you actually did the run in. So my week is I did one speed run in Train Simulator and then discovered this issue existed and have basically spent the time since talking to the game developers being like, what do you know about this bug? And with that information, how should we best proceed with this? What would your advice be as the people who understand how this game works? So we haven't come to a firm conclusion yet, but I've been collecting statistics and things about how that game works. There is nothing like speedrunning a game to make you learn to understand all the weird idiosyncrasies to do with it. Like, Cookin' Mama Cookstar, I probably can tell you more than most people on this planet about the differences between version numbers and how you prove what version number of that game you're speedrunning on. So, I'm learning about how the weird ways a game is broken and how to make speedrunning it fair.
Yay!
What about you? Did you play anything else this week?
I'm playing some more XCOM 2.
How's that going?
I've restarted again. I can't remember if I'd restarted last time. I'm now on my third attempt to go through. My first one went pretty well. I felt like I was going quite far. And then I realised there just seemed to be stuff I hadn't done. My second one, I got to a point where just, like, I couldn't seem to progress at all. Everyone was getting murdered. And I just was like, I think I need to restart. I've looked up some, like, hints for, like, things I might be missing. And realised that there are a couple of things just I haven't bothered building in my ship before.
Okay.
And one of them is one that you get quite early on, and I've just, for some reason, it's just faded out of existence as being relevant to me.
Yeah.
It's incredibly relevant, and I should have been building them. So I am now building more of the sort of support stuff and opening up more options, and I am finding the game a little bit easier to manage now. I've got 5-person teams. I've got people like getting bonus abilities as they level up.
Yeah.
They're doing all right so far, and it's been fun having sort of not quite versions of people I know, because I've learned from Final Fantasy VII that you never name anyone you care about after a character in a video game. Not directly, anyway. You give them you'll have like vague references to them. But yeah, there's a you with your swipey hair. There's me with my pink swipey hair, and there's a Fee with a sort of a purple or blurple quiff thing. There's Jonathan Holmes.
Ooh.
There's a guy called Macrame Etsy store. Don't know why.
Just amused you.
Those are the words that came into my head when I was naming characters.
See.
Yeah, they're doing quite well this time.
Yay.
Yeah, I have a little drone this time. I don't know if that helps with the macrame, but there we go. Yeah, what about you? You played anything else?
The only other thing I've played is for accessibility this week. Oh, low-flying plane happening.
Or a jellycopter?
Maybe a jellyflopter. Yes, so for accessibility this week, that for regular people will already be up, but for people listening early will be up in a couple of days, I played some Among Us and some Fortnite Imposters. I continue to really enjoy Among Us.
I played a game of that with you, or 2 games of that with you.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I tried to use you as an alibi. I was going to keep you safe from murder to do it, but
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Didn't work.
In fact, the fact that you didn't run around with me got you suspected.
Yep. And thrown out of an airlock.
Yeah. In hindsight, I realise it's easier than I always build it up to be in my head to just be like, I fancy playing some Among Us. And I acknowledge this is because I have a lot of people on Twitter. That I can just go, I really fancy playing some Among Us. Here's a room code, come join.
Yeah, I have to say playing like 15-person Among Us is a very different experience.
Yeah, it's fun chaos.
It is.
I always build it up in my head that I'm like, no, I want to play some Among Us, but it's going to be a nightmare to get set up, isn't it? No. I'm like,
Not really. Within about 10 minutes, you've gone from like 8-person games to 15-person.
Yeah, it's lovely. I continue to feel like Fortnite imposters, having played a bit more of it. I like that you can see the map while you're doing the interrogation step, but the lack of ability to just type exactly what you're trying to ask means that, like, I understand what they're trying to do with their quick chat menu, where they're trying to be like, are you asking a question or making an accusation or giving some evidence? And then you have like 6 options and you fill in the person and the place. You just can't get specific enough to explain. It's those moments you have in Among Us where it's like, someone will do a murder, someone sees it, the person self-reports, and you both go back and forth going, no, they killed, no, I was on my way out, they were on the way in, no, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
All that, like, nitty-gritty nuance is lost. And, like, on top of that, Fortnite mode's other problems of, like, difficulty distinguishing who's who.
Made all the worse by Peely mode, where everyone turns into a fucking banana.
Yes. It's... Fortnite imposters, they tried. There's a couple of little things here and there that, like, yeah, that's an improvement on Among Us, but, like, overall it is a much worse experience.
Yeah, I feel like there are several problems with that. One being... just the view.
Yes.
The fact that you've got like a standard third-person view, it feels much harder to identify. Like somebody could be killing someone right behind you.
Yeah, and when you're doing a task, you have no peripheral vision. In Among Us, it works because like if someone's coming near you, even if they're behind you, you're like, someone's nearby. I'm going to be cautious. You've got much less ability to protect yourself from death.
Yeah. And the fact that people are using their own skins, the fact that there's that whole Peely thing. Yeah, it feels like it'd be much more difficult to identify who did the crime.
Yes.
There seem to be like a lot more missions to do, and like I feel like knowing the map would be much more difficult in that mode as well.
Agreed. Yeah, it's.
I mean, I only edited the video. I've never played that.
All of your observations are how I feel about playing it. They tried to make Among Us. It ain't Among Us.
Would you say that having played it a bit, that generally speaking, the communication works enough that people are getting their point across, and that those people are then being voted off?
I mean, there's a lot more having to just put blind faith in someone confidently saying, so-and-so killed, and just spamming the same sentence over and over to gain emphasis. It's a lot harder to defend yourself if you're accused. It's a lot harder to have any sense of, like, if 2 people are saying, they did it, because all they're doing is sending the exact same messages pointed at each other. I felt like I had a lot less ability to understand and deduce and make informed guesses.
Yeah.
It is just not as well thought out as Among Us.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
An attempt was made.
Indeed it was. But yeah, I think that's everything I've played this week.
Well then.
Time for this.
We made it. We escaped the Earth. Finally, we have escaped the bounds of this planet, and now we can rule everywhere.
Yeah, I'm so glad we just stepped over our fellow humans and just got out of there while the planet burned.
I mean,
in the wake of our jet stream.
How was I going to escape capitalism if not by exploiting it?
I mean, I would say I brought the capitalism with me. I still have All of my money.
I mean, all of the precious resources have to come to space with us.
Right. I mean, why would we leave anything there? You know, we earned all of that money.
Yeah.
Woo!
Sorry, what, hello? I don't understand you.
Universal Translator. Translating. Greetings, Earthlings.
Oh, hi. Have you come to greet us for being amazing and making it to space?
Congratulations on making it to space.
See, I knew it, thank you.
You've done amazing work. And when will the rest of you be joining us?
Oh, the rest? Oh, no, they were down there, putting out all the fires and stuff. Yeah, there's a pandemic down there. We're not taking that up with us.
Oh, your species speed runners.
What?
Gross.
Look, we just wanted to come to space with all our infinite accumulated wealth.
Woo! Tractor beam engaged. Returning to surface of planet.
Oh,
They're taking us back?
but space.
But we just made it off of there. What are we gonna do? The whole planet's burning. I mean, this just isn't fair. I should have special treatment.
I want to speak to Space's manager.
I've got a lot of money. I shouldn't have to put up with this. Oh, the proletariat look real angry.
I really shouldn't have done any percent speed run.
Yeah.
Are you fiercely independent?
Mm-hmm.
Do people describe you as stubborn?
A little bit.
Has an awful childhood left you unable to ask for things?
I'm feeling a bit called out.
Do you secretly wish to be spoiled and pampered?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah.
Call Pamp Pals and we'll send you gifts. Order a masseuse to your home. Send you takeaway food. Come rub your feet. Whatever you need for a pick-me-up. Pamp Pals. Because Findom isn't always an option.
So, what have you put in your eyes?
Oh, what have I put in my eyes? I've not put a lot in my eyes this week. Let me pull up the list. I watched the trailer for Spider-Man: No Way Home. That sure looks like it's going to be a Spider-Man film.
And the Doctor Strange film?
Yeah, and a Doctor Strange film. I'm glad that we now know, one way or another, no spoilers, whether or not all those multiverse rumours were true or not. I'm intrigued. I'm excited to see a Spider-Man film that, from the looks of it, is going to be very visually impressive. It's like, hey, give me all the cool visuals from a Doctor Strange film, while I'm not having to primarily be watching a Doctor Strange film. Put those cool visuals in what's mostly a Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
And I'm very here for that. What about you? What did you watch this week?
We watched the new What If.
We did. This was if T'Challa from Black Panther was Star-Lord.
Yeah.
I really liked this one.
Good one. I sat there like 10 minutes into the episode going, I wonder if we're going to see Howard the Duck again.
You
And we did!
You called it literally about 2 minutes before it happened. I was like, oh, look at you there. Yeah, I really enjoyed this particular What If. I thought that Chadwick Boseman's performance was fantastic in it, and obviously, like, this is the last performance he did for the MCU before he died, and it's a hell of a good one. He translates very well to voice acting performance. I very much enjoyed the unexpected party grouping that we had of who our band of heroes were.
Who are the band of heroes in this universe?
Yeah,
Where
and
these things happened.
I like the differences of what this, set of Guardians of the Galaxy were up to as opposed to our original ones. They felt distinctly different from just, this is just a different person in charge of this group.
Yeah,
It's like
it felt like T'Challa had a much bigger effect on his universe
It did.
than, say, Agent Carter, because it felt like that was still
Yeah.
very much had within a very narrow space.
Yeah, Agent Carter was still ultimately going to be the symbol of liberty,
Defeat
superhero,
Hydra.
defeat Hydra, be be the sort of English language speaking, like, buff hero type.
British English rather than...
Well, yeah, British English is most of American English, but still like, aha, the English-speaking world's hero.
Yes.
Sort of mentality. This felt a lot more, and I felt it was justified why he would have had that very different kind of impact on the universe. And I like that some of the same character flaws from the MCU films came up in this, but in a different context. It's like...
Yeah.
That character's gonna do that thing no matter who Star-Lord happens to be.
Yeah.
Because that's who that character is.
Yeah.
It was real fun. I like this one.
It was good. I am enjoying this series so far.
This has really sold me on, like, yeah, give me more of this. What else have I watched? I tried watching the XCOM, Xbox Gamescom opening night press conference, whatever it is. Xbox announced they were doing like a 90-minute press conference at Gamescom, and you know, in some past years, Gamescom press conferences have been like, "Hey, here's a little mini E3," and I was like, "Okay, I'll watch along with this. I'll see how this goes." I'll tell you. You know how the PC gaming show always feels very, very, very padded out? Like, they don't have enough announcements to fill the time they've decided they're going to fill.
No, I don't watch it for that very reason.
Well, I mean, did you see one of them to see that, or have you heard that
I guess
at
I
least?
must have at some point sat and watched one of them and gone, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, so this was one of those. It was one of the, like, we're gonna show you a very lengthy, not really anything happens trailer, and then have a very bland, say-nothing developer interview. At one point, they went on to a little mini documentary about what trebuchets are and how they work, because I think it was an Age of Empires game they were showing off.
Okay.
So, like, rather than show off the game, they had a little 5-minute documentary about trebuchets.
I mean, that sounds more fascinating than...
But, I mean, yeah, but, like, that's the level this was. The day after this, we record this, actual Gamescom opening night is happening. Hopefully there'll actually be some announcements there, but this was overbilled for what it was. They did not need 90 minutes to do this. No. What about you? What have you watched this week?
What have I watched this week? I watched some films.
Tell me about the films you watched.
Watched Dora and the Lost City of Gold. The Dora the Explorer movie.
Live action Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was alright.
Yeah.
It was clearly still a kids' movie.
Yeah.
It had kids' humour in it for the most part, but it was...
It had kids' humour until characters were tripping balls.
And even then, I think it was done in a way that kids would be like, ha ha, it's gone animated, and I saw someone's bum, ha. Yeah, it was very silly.
It's very strange, the concept of a live action thing where it's like, all these villains going to do a bad thing, and there's just a fox in a little mask, which is not going to acknowledge they're a thing.
Well, they did acknowledge Swiper several times.
Well, acknowledge Swiper, but not acknowledge that it's weird for a bunch of, like, armed hooligans to be around with
just
a fox.
Yeah, a fox is part of the gang, because... Because Swiper, yes, swiping.
Swipey, yes, swiping.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah.
It was an adventure that happened. There was some fun bits at the beginning where they were making reference to the fact that Dora's like, can you say neurotoxin? Like, yes. That was fun. Yeah, it was fun. If you have small people, maybe give that a watch sometime.
Yeah.
If you want some mild peril. and
Mild peril.
Mild peril.
Did you watch anything else?
I watched Wonder Park.
What's Wonder Park?
Depressing as fuck is what Wonder Park is.
Okay.
I cried like 6 times during that film.
So this is another children's animated
It's another animated film. I don't know if it's like a Pixar thing. I remember it being advertised a while ago and having very much that sort of Disney Pixar style animation. It's nicely animated, but the basic story is kid has this wild imagination and is always coming up with ideas for like a theme park. And Mum is very encouraging of this, but Mum clearly has possibly cancer.
I mean, it sure seems to be.
Like, during the opening 10 minutes, she seems to be getting more and more and more sick, and she's, like, looking really thin, and, like, bags under the eyes, and then she's going like, I'm gonna have to go to a special hospital where they're gonna look after me for a while. Like, oh shit. Is this end of life care and then not telling the kid or what? Because I'm sitting there just
Yeah, the way you were talking about it seemed like it was very this might be final. She might not come
that
back.
is the vibe it gives, I'll be honest. Yeah, and then the things work out, I guess. So it turns out that the thing is that she'll come up with a new idea for a thing, and then she hands her pet monkey Peanut a marker pen and whispers in his ear that he has to make the ride that she's just come up with. And then at some point in the future, she will sit and make out of like bendy straws.
Yeah,
or
her and
whatever.
Mum specifically
Like,
will.
They'll sit down and make like things, and the whole house is covered in this stuff,
Yeah.
and it's kind of fantastical in a great way. And then obviously Mum gets sick, and the kid's like, don't want to do this because this is the Mum thing, and it reminds me of Mum, and that makes me sad. So she puts it all away, and then like has like a massive argument with a family member who's like, but you love all this stuff, and I bought you like a thing for that.
I'm having a depressive episode because Mum's dying and I don't know how to emotionally process the happy memories of her right now.
Yes, and like burning shit and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like, I have some trauma related to this. Thanks, film. It's like, God, I thought it was just going to be like fun child's film.
But then, now she's in the magical world of the theme park.
Yeah, she goes off to math camp. And initially she's like, oh my god, my dad can't survive on his own. He's not going to survive on his own. Something terrible's going to happen. I have to return home. And then she sort of wanders off from math camp almost as soon as she gets there, gets lost in the woods, finds the tumble down real life version of her Wonderland theme park, and basically the little like toy monkeys that they give everyone who visits, and they've all got different costumes, like there's like 40 or something different costumes. It's all overgrown, and nature has reclaimed it like something out of The Last of Us. And there's a blue bear, a warthog, a porcupine who's played by John Oliver, and two beavers.
Yeah!
And they're like living through the zombie apocalypse as the little pet creatures that they used to give you for coming for the park are now chimpan zombies.
Yeah.
And they're just chasing after people. They drag you off and feed you to the darkness.
Yeah, my understanding from passing of this is that basically the moral of the film for like the middle section is just, hey child, your depression is killing everything you love.
Yep.
The things you love, they're dying because of you, because you're depressed.
Yes, I really struggled with this was like cry number 3. The middle section of just like, oh, like everything is dying and everything is awful because you're depressed. Oh, thanks. Let's have some victim blaming on that.
It's actively your fault. Your depression is actively killing everything you love.
Yep. And you are why everyone is sad and depressed and living in the zombie apocalypse.
You are why the
chimpanzee
world's
zombie-
ending. It's all on you, child.
Pretty much.
Small child, it's your fault.
Pretty much.
Stop being sad about Mum, or we'll die too.
Yes, and also you have to work out all of our problems and get the clockwork swings restarted.
This film sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. It does have a happy ending.
I'm glad.
But if you need that reassurance. But yeah, fuck me, it's a grueling place. It's just like, oh god.
It's not just
God.
happy smiles, silly.
No, it's
Roller
not.
coasters.
All I was going for was I would just want some... Because sometimes I just have these days where I was just like, I'm feeling a bit delicate. I'm going to watch some kids' films.
Yeah,
Because I know that they won't get too real at any point. They did.
Yeah.
And I won't have to deal with, like, huge complicated story arcs that I might not be able to follow in I just want to veg out and eat snacks and just
Something low risk.
yeah, something low risk. This was not low risk.
Something that ideally you're not going to have to look up fucking content warnings for or anything.
Yeah, and something you're not going to spend a good percentage of it just sobbing. Yeah, so that one, not great. Followed that up with the Addams Family movie from last year.
The relatively modern recent Addams Family.
Yeah.
The CGI one.
The CGI one.
Yeah, actually
alright.
on with that.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Wednesday, as always, is the best character.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's a fun story. I think that's a good Gomez.
Yeah.
I think I was initially worried that there was never going to be a Gomez quite as good as from the original film, from the films. But I think I like this Gomez. I like this Morticia.
This Gomez and Morticia stand up pretty well.
Pudsey constantly reminded me of Bobby Hill.
Yeah, he's got that energy.
What if slightly more morbid Bobby Hill?
Yeah, I will say, from what I caught of this, it seems like there are sometimes older properties that will try and get modernized in, hey, what if we brought them into interacting with a modern world? And often that feels kind of forced and a bit it doesn't really work. It seemed like it was working here. It seemed like a good excuse to...
I think it did just fine. I mean, the whole thing with the Addams Family has always been they are not like other people.
Yeah.
So you put them anywhere near any other society,
Yeah.
things are going to happen. It just happened in this case that they decided to build a suburb right near the Addams house, and entitled Karen decides to do what entitled Karens do and make shit bad.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it all worked out.
Yeah.
There was a really nice bit where they painted the Addams house pink, and that was a nice nod to the original TV show.
Yeah.
Because apparently just the value of that shade of pink shows up really well on black and white film.
Yeah. I think that there is a benefit to modernising the world around old characters without modernising those characters and allowing that conflict to be
I think
thing.
the Addamses pull off timeless pretty well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's always the point, that they are, outsiders and misfits, and...
No matter where you put them, it looks like they should have been a couple of 100 years before that.
Yeah, I want to see, what are the future Addamses?
Yeah.
What is the weird cyberpunk future meets the Addams Family, and they take out some kind of techno cop or something? Let's see that. Let's keep modernising the Addams Family forever. It's a fun, if slightly morbid story, where once again the biggest problem in the world is a white woman. What about you? Have you watched anything else?
I think that's everything I've watched this week.
I watched one other thing.
Yeah?
I'll see if I can find the link here. Oh yes, I watched Reubs, Reubs, on YouTube. Did a how I remade the Simpsons Hit and Run in a week.
Aha!
So they apparently really liked the Simpsons Hit and Run as a kid, because that was hey, your parents will not get you GTA.
Yeah.
But you basically want to play GTA.
Yeah.
With Simpsons characters, and just all of the collectathon nature around that. So he spent a week in Unity 4 and 5 just making a ray traced version of the Simpsons Hit and Run, exporting the map from somebody had made a tool to just export the maps from that into object files that Blender can read.
Yeah.
And Unity can read. So cool, that's all that done, don't have to remake it. Using a standard model, and then paying someone to fit Homer into that model so that it does all the kick animations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then ripping sounds out, ripping all the texture files out, and using an AI up-res thing.
Yeah, upscaler.
To upscale most of the textures, and they looked really good. There were a few that he was okay, I'm gonna have to remake that one myself, but I didn't have to make thousands and thousands of textures.
Oh gosh, yeah.
At the end of the day, he got some conversation stuff works, some interactions going on, all of the hidden collectible cards in that game, and the first mission of the game entirely integrated in a week. It's like that's cool. And for people of that era, assuming you can get it out of litigation hell, I'm sure people would be very excited to see.
Yeah.
Hey, here is the Simpsons Hit and Run remaster, remake, whatever.
Yeah.
4K edition HD. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool video.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. What is that everything?
I think that's everything.
Well then,
Time for this.
Laura, we've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, have you been fighting for your rights?
I have been. I had a protest recently out
I saw it. It was very good.
Yeah.
And do you think that maybe instead of arguing for your rights, you could get someone else to do it for you?
I mean, I don't see why I would. I think I'm perfectly capable of explaining, what rights I should have.
Yeah, but what if a cis white man could do it?
I mean, I'd rather do it myself.
Yeah, but what if a cis white man was just like debating your enemies on their home turf?
I don't think that would help.
You don't think that would help? Just
No.
a white man stepping in,
No, I think that would actively be bad for my fight for rights. I think that would actively hurt the cause I'm trying
debating
to
your
do
enemy
here.
about the you question.
Oh, God. Oh, they're framing it as the me question. No, this isn't helpful. No, stop.
Very Wanted Advocate is here to help, whether you like it or not.
Not is the answer.
Whether or not you enter the code Q&PS 179, you will get some help from the Very Wanted Advocate.lol.net.
Undo. Unsponsor.
No, I've been instructed by a cis white man.
I'm hitting the
That's just
delete
how it-
button.
Apparently,
Delete.
you can't delete them all. You
Delete.
can't, no, I'm sorry.
No.
No, there's only cis white men now. There's more of them, in fact. You tried to cancel them.
Oh, no.
Now they've all got articles in The Guardian
Oh, God.
and The Times.
Well, hopefully they're too busy talking about how they're being deplatformed to get in my business.
Oh no, they're very much in your business.
Oh.
They've set up a debate on a no one's ever heard of it podcast.
Oh.
Essentially, they are not giving a platform to a bigot. They are inflating the platform of an existing bigot.
Oh, joy of joys.
Yeah. Oh, two bigots, in fact.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's verywantedadvocate.lol.net, and a white man is gonna just decide that he knows best for you. Inside the boardroom of Electronic Actor Softworks.
Hi. Hi. So, I've been trying to think of ways we can make more money.
I like money.
Yeah, money's great, right?
Yeah.
So, like, as we've always said, one of the best ways to make money is to, like, make other people do the work for us.
Yeah.
Because, like, we had that game with the little plumber, but we made everyone else make the levels, so we didn't have to make any levels.
Yeah, and then there was so much content, and we didn't, vet any of it.
Exactly, we just let people make their own content, and whatever happened.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm wondering if we can, expand that market, because, it's very good for us when we just let people make games for us and we make the money.
Yeah.
So I've been working on this thing. For a while.
Right.
It's sort of looks a little bit like Lego. It's aimed at the little kids.
People love Lego,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But here's the deal. We encourage little kids to make games.
Right.
Cause hey, that's a market of people who don't yet know not to have their labor exploited.
And they understand their own market, right?
Exactly. So here's what we do. We give them the tools and say, hey, make your own game. You can sell it, people can pay for it, and if enough people buy it, we'll give you a cut of the money. But
Plus, we can sell that to parents as it's educational because they're learning to program
Exactly.
and stuff. Yeah.
But here's where I'm going on this. We make the cap that they've got to earn in order to actually get paid out higher than any kid's ever going to make.
Yeah.
So that in theory they could make money off their games, but in practice,
the hypothetical money
Yeah.
exists.
they raise money selling games they made, and we just keep 100% of it.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
I feel like I've got a business plan here.
Yeah, I could sleep at night just fine with that knowledge in my head.
Oh, how I love child labor.
Same. Yeah, I would. Yeah, there's nothing quite like it. Nothing quite like watching their little exploited eyes as they realize actually there is no money for you. But we probably had fun playing, right?
In a perfect world, they'll be disillusioned with this industry before they turn 10.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears?
I've not put much in my ears this week. It's not been a very listen-heavy week.
Nope.
I did listen to a track called Redo by Modern Baseball. It is an upbeat, sort of fast rock track about, wanting to start things over and the power of self-ownership that comes from, picking a new name for yourself, having a fresh start, having a clean break from who you were before. It's a good, positive, uplifting rock track.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What have you listened to this week?
I've listened to most of Dice Funk Season 8 to
How
date.
how close are you to up to date on that? I'm curious.
I am currently on episode 20.
Oh yeah, you're not far behind at all.
Do you know what episode we're on at the moment?
I think 25.
Okay, so I'm not far
So
behind.
yeah, what's roughly what's going on around where you are at the moment?
You are exercising the barber.
Aha, yes, okay, and we're coming across all that. Okay, yeah, you're maybe one arc behind where we're at now.
I think this is how I prefer to listen to Dice Funk, generally
Yeah.
speaking. Like, I got seriously into Dice Funk when I was just, mainstreaming episodes, because
Yeah,
I don't think I, seriously started listening until, season... When did you start? 3?
3. Yeah.
Yeah, season 3. I had just, I think, listened to season 1 and 2 at that point,
Yeah.
and I got into Word Funk,
Yes.
and then, obviously, Leon dropped out of Dice Funk, and then, a little while after that, he dropped out of Word Funk as
Yeah.
well. He's just like, I don't want to do podcasts, and that's fine.
That's fair.
But yeah, I got through most of that, and then I think I listened to 3, 4, and 5 pretty much along with the release times. But I knew I wasn't following it as well, and that was making it much harder to be like, I'm really into this.
I understand consuming narrative that way, being like, I want to binge it.
But also I kind of want to know, because you keep being very excited about things around the house.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think you've binged it at about the perfect time because, considering you've got maybe 5 or so episodes left to catch up on, you should
getting to your
you
arc
should
soon.
be up to date with by probably this weekend. You'll probably be up to date with this weekend's episode, which is where shit starts to go down.
Oh shit.
Some real shit occurs
Oh shit.
in the episode that's going to go up this weekend.
Yeah.
That'll be, for regular listeners, this will be up the same day you listen to this.
I have to say I'm less keen on the whole separating the credits things and not forcing Austin to be there during the credits.
I know.
I get why it was done, but at the same time, having Austin be part of the trauma of the credits was half the fun.
I want to force Austin back into the credits.
Austin should be forced back.
You never
into the
heard that
credits.
from me, but I want to force him back in the credits.
Look, we're paying you money.
Exactly.
You have to listen to our bad puns.
Exactly.
Be punned at, Austin. Be punned at.
Yeah, I'm really digging this season at the moment. I like that it has a similar vibe to season 3, where it's very small enclosed environment. A small enough cast of characters that I generally remember who everyone is. And
Austin shitty ingrain of, I have a mechanic running in the background.
Yes.
Not telling.
Oh no, I love when he does that. I love when there are consequences.
I love that
later.
too.
He gave us all the clues we needed to mitigate that being a problem.
Yep.
And we didn't do the things, and it became a problem. Oh, there are so much bigger problems coming.
I'm sure. I mean, I think that's when Austin is having fun with those slightly shitty and grin moments of, I have invented a mechanic that is running in the background, but I'm not telling you what it is. But it helps make everything A, feel more alive, and B, gives Austin a reason to be giggling away at certain points during the
Yeah.
narrative.
I'm always a big fan of Austin revealing something and us going, how long have you been fucking sitting on this? That's been happening for fucking forever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, with no spoilers, at some point around a little way after you're at, I get a botch and Austin waits multiple episodes to be like, we're gonna pay off that botch now.
Oh shit.
I'm like, for me recording, I'm like, that was like 3 fucking weeks ago. We're doing that botch.
Oh shit.
He'll just quietly sit on things sometimes and go, hey, about that. Austin's a good DM.
He's a good DM. He
Yeah.
has a good mind. I don't have a good player mind for that sort of thing, though. What was relevant? I have no idea.
I like that because season 8 is like season 3, it's a small contained bubble environment.
Mhm.
There are so many fewer things for me to keep track of, it's much easier for me to remember what the options are.
I mean, I've only been on one shot, so... And
Yeah.
that was enough for me to go, I don't know which information was very relevant or not, but by the end of the episode, I am very sorry that I'm not following this quite as well as perhaps I should have done.
That is sometimes how these things go. But it's this season of Dice Funk is at the point where I'm like, I'm ready. Let me record more episodes. I'll record like the next 10 episodes back to back. I want to record.
I want to binge the end of this season, Austin. Come
Yeah,
on.
I want to binge the end of this season, and the only way I can do that is if I binge making it. Can we just have a weekend where we just make Dice Funk?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're having fun, and those are the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mari and Sophie have been wonderful additions to the crew.
They've both brought very different things to the show.
Mari has amazing energy, and Sophie is very chaotic, but apparently willing to play like 3 separate fucking characters.
Yeah, like, Sophie is very good at simultaneously playing, like, calm, reserved, quiet, sensible, intelligent character, and I'm a crime sheep. Crime sheep.
Crime sheep.
Yeah, and Mari in particular has hit the ground running with that concept, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big fan of slime.
Yeah, Slime won over hearts and minds very quickly.
Quite right too.
Yeah, love Slime.
Love slime.
Who doesn't love Slime?
Who doesn't love slime? Where are they? I will get you. You not love slime loving person.
What about you? Have you listened to anything else this
That
week?
was it. That was my big thing. I've listened to nearly 20 episodes of Dice Funk.
That's fair. That's a lot of Dice Funk.
Yeah, I mean, especially because they're like 2.5, 3 hours.
They're a couple of hours. Yeah. At the very least, an hour and a half per
That's
episode.
a lot of content. Yeah, apart from I think Chris's one-to-one
Oh yeah, that was
episode. That was like 57 minutes.
yeah,
So yeah, but for the most part, long.
couple of hours usually.
Either way, excellent narrative all the way through. Well done, everybody.
I'm very proud of it. I need to getting tattoos done again. I'm falling
You
behind
do.
on my Dice Funk
Several
tats.
seasons behind on tattoos.
Yeah. Well then, if that's everything we've listened to, well then, time for this. Alright, welcome everyone. It's finally time.
Excellent. I'm very excited
Yes.
about this whole thing.
We've been working for months and months and months and months on this AI, and we finally believe it's ready to switch on.
Stunning.
It should, if all works out well, mimic successful human behavior based on popular online accounts.
Right. Okay. So.
Let me hit the button. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at the little screen readout. First of all, it says, I would like to make the world a better place.
Lovely.
It's very pleasant.
Lovely. Yeah. What else?
I think people should have rights. Ooh.
That's
Yes.
jolly decent of it.
Yeah, so I'm glad it's come to that conclusion. Top 10 sandwiches that look like faces. Okay.
Top 10 health tips. Number 7 will surprise you.
Oh no. Top 10 secrets your doctor is keeping from you. Not clickbait. Hashtag your doctor wants to kill you.
What the government don't want to tell you about vaccines, not clickbait. Number 7 will surprise you. Listicle top 10.
Top 10 ways you're secretly dying right now that you should panic about. Not clickbait. Hashtag not clickbait. Hashtag ad.
Oh, that one's got a SoundCloud link. Apparently,
Oh.
it started making its own AI music as well.
Oh, wonderful! And there's a meme that it definitely didn't steal and repost.
Oh, that one's a frog.
Oh.
Oh, that one's a frog too.
Oh no! Shut it down! Shut it down!
No,
Shut it down! Shut it
oh,
down!
God, it's appearing on Joe Rogan.
Oh,
Get it off!
no.
Shut it off! Shut it off!
Using 700 gallons of custard. Next up, scientists have discovered a horrific monster fish from the deepest depths of the ocean. It has 17-inch fangs, skin that is poisonous to look at, eyes that can see with crystal clarity in what would be considered by humans to be pitch blackness, jaws powerful enough to crush steel beams, and scales that can withstand the blast from a 2,000mm cannon shell. Apparently, it arrived in Paris this week and demanded that humanity cut it out with all the pollution and general destruction of the planet. Or else, others like them will wipe your quivering meat sacks from the surface of the earth. More at 11. And now the weather with Invisible Bob.
Hello! Question time, let's have questions.
What's the questions?
Bethany Turner, hi Beth.
Hi.
Go and read Eon's World, it's very good. Chocolate pirates or vanilla ninjas?
I'm gonna go chocolate just generally.
Chocolate
So
pirates.
I'll go chocolate pirates, but like if I had to pick pirates or ninjas, I'd pick ninjas. But the chocolate outweighs the
I
pirates.
would lick a vanilla ninja, but I'd be thinking of a chocolate pirate.
I mean, look, here's the thing: the chocolate pirate could probably, has enough money stored in their boat that I never have to engage with capitalism again. I will eat the chocolate pirate, and then the gold is mine. Oh no, it's chocolate coins.
It's more chocolates. What if it's cursed chocolate?
Nom cursed chocolate.
No, tasty cursed chocolate. Now I'm a zombie pirate. No. Tasty brains. Chocolate brains. Ah. Hi drop. What's your favourite song of all time? And congratulations on the lovely wedding. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We had a magical time.
Favorite song of all time?
All time. Pick one.
It really depends what day you ask me. Do you have an answer for this?
Same. It does very much depend. Gosh, give me a minute.
Yeah, I feel like if I had to pick one gun to my head today, it'd probably be something by My Chemical Romance. It would probably be something like I'm gonna follow my gut. Right now, I will say My Chemical Romance. The Jet Set Life is gonna kill you. Ask me that another day, you'll get a completely different answer. Some days I'd probably answer, say, Tracy Chapman's Fast Car. It entirely depends what headspace I'm in when you ask me.
I'm going to go with Miracle of Sound, Celebrate and Rejoice, because I think it's a great and very uplifting track.
It is a fantastic track.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little sing-along to it at the wedding.
We did, and we sent it to Gav, just so we could feel included.
Yeah.
Gimlet Kenny asks, not a question, but I just wanted to say I hope you all had a wonderful day and week.
Oh, heck. Yeah. I'm having a good week. It's been a busy one, but I'm having a good one.
It's been a very manageable week.
I'm sleepy, but that's about the most of it.
Marshmallow asks, which is your favourite spider person?
Ooh, favourite spider person. I love the outfit for Gwenum.
Gwenum.
Yes. So, Spider-Gwen, but Venom symbioted slightly.
Makes sense.
Gwenum.
Okay.
I just, completely ignoring all, plot lines and anything, Gwenum just has a really fucking cool outfit.
Okay. Of the spiders people that I have seen and spent any time with, I'm going to say Miles.
I mean, character personality-wise, it's definitely Miles. Miles is the most interesting spider person that I know in any real depth.
Yeah.
I
And
like...
I don't know any of them very well, but of the media I've seen, the games, the films.
I enjoy that in a lot of the Miles Morales stories, he is a lot more focused on, community level, helping the actual community rather than, say, Peter Parker, who is usually
I mean, he's not a cop, but you might as well fucking be at times.
Certainly, that's certainly the difference between the PS4 and PS5 games.
Yeah, but even outside of that, in some of the live-action films, Peter Parker can sometimes be a little bit like, I've caught you, non-violent drug offender.
Yep, and I pinned you up for the cops to take.
Yeah. Like, Miles Morales would not go like, hey, I'm gonna pin a drug user to a wall and wait for the cops to come.
No, but if someone was dealing crack in his area, he might.
No, but like, someone who's, just using drugs, he'd probably go like, hey, did you know that Feast down the road has like a recovery program and that might be really helpful for you, and I hope you're doing alright. Is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem like you're in a rough spot.
Yeah.
I see that's the difference.
That's treating drug users with compassion rather than like they're criminals.
Wink.
Wink, and should be done. Cameron Andrews asks, are there any live performances / events you're excited to eventually attend?
My Chemical Romance coming back to the UK after a 10-year plus hiatus, and hopefully they're going to be back in the summer of 2022 if COVID, gets its shit together and gets out of the way a little bit.
Yeah.
They were meant to be in 2020, and then it was meant to be 2021, and now it's 2022, and I just want to see my favourite band again. I've got tickets to see them twice in the UK in the time they're here, and I've got early entry tickets, and I'm going to camp out and get myself as close to front and barrier as I can. And I've got a friend coming with me for one of them, and I'm going to see my favourite band again. I've missed them.
Yeah. Heck.
What about you?
And me, there is a rave that we go to semi-regularly that plays a lot of very good and very upbeat music, and not just the music, which is always excellent at that event, but just like the family and community around that I'm always very excited
the costuming and the aesthetics are always on point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will have been about 18 months or so between going by the time we go back.
Possibly longer than that by the time we actually get there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a long old time. But yeah, we nice to see some people, including the lovely Tallulah, who is a listener. Hi, Tallulah.
Hi, Tallulah, you're lovely.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing all those good people. Arachnovol asks, what's your favourite meal to cook when you don't feel like doing a lot of cooking?
Oh, it's got to be student pad thai.
Ooh, yeah.
It's, you chuck some noodles and some veg in a pan, you cook it up, you drain off most of the water, and you add in just some peanut butter and some bunch of sweet chili sauce, and you have a sort of creamy, nutty, sweet chili vegetable noodle quick thing,
which bears no resemblance to actual pad thai.
Yeah.
But that's the recipe I had it named to me.
Yeah. Some soy chunks in there as well.
Oh,
Chuck some soy chunks in.
Get some protein.
Yeah, you boil the soy chunks earlier so that they soften up nice, and then you chuck them in. But yeah, it's super easy, super low energy, good wholesome stodge.
I like stodge.
Yeah.
Meal to cook when you don't feel like doing a lot of cooking. Soup. I like soup and bread.
Yeah, soup and bread's lovely.
Love soup and bread. Big fan of soup and bread. Don't feel like doing a lot of cooking. I'm trying to think of other things. Oh, that thing I've been doing recently of just like noodles and not chicken and vegetables.
Yeah.
With like garlic and ginger, a little bit of soy sauce.
Yeah, that turns out real lovely.
Some 5 spice. It's good. It's very nice, and it's one of the few ways I can get you to eat veg.
I eat veg sometimes.
No. Very good. Eat all the veg.
Yeah.
Tasty veg. Kiri Magic asks, what IP most desperately needs a pinball table designed after it?
Oh.
I was thinking maybe Requiem for a Dream or Titus Andronicus.
I was going to suggest something like the Magnus Archives.
Ooh.
Have some weird eldritch creations going on. Oh, you knocked the pinball through that hole. Now the unknowing is starting to happen at the top of the board.
Oh no, you've buried your ball. Oh no. Everything retracts into the board apart from the flippers, and you've just got to keep them up for a while because you're stuck in the vast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be fun. Night Vale
Night Vale
for
could be
similar
fun.
reasons.
Yeah. Here's a house that looks like it exists, and it would make sense for it to exist, but it doesn't exist. Get the ball up there.
Yep.
Don't ever put your ball in the door at the dog park.
No,
Never send your ball to the dog park.
Yeah. Or look at the hooded figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like occasionally like you hit enough things and eventually you get to the weather. And,
Oh.
like the weather just plays while you
Oh, that's when you hit like certain score thresholds.
and
Yeah.
there's like you've hit the weather multiplier. Oh shit.
I will play these machines now.
Right, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things. No, I think those are the best ones.
Make me a physical Pokemon pinball table like Pokemon Pinball the game, but a board, and I can catch Pokemon by playing pinball.
Oh my god, the same suggested Boston's favourite son. That would be amazing.
That would be interesting.
Fish shark. Let's go. You gotta hit Craig the intern. In fact, let's get like a Steph wrestling. Let's get a polyam cult wrestling table. That would be amazing. Phoenix 2, who have Phoenix, I love you. Asks, what's your favourite DIY tool?
Oh. I really enjoy those screwdrivers where you don't have to take the screwdriver out
Oh, the
to
ratchet
screw.
engine.
Yeah, the ratchet screwdrivers where you can like, let's say you're turning it clockwise, turn it clockwise, and then while it's still in, you turn anti-clockwise, and it sort of clicks and doesn't turn it anti-clockwise, and then you can just sort of back and forth it without having to take it out the slot. That's satisfying.
I mean, screwdrivers.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, I was going to say, I don't think a crowbar counts. Like one of my favourite tools that I own is a crowbar.
Ooh.
There's so many good ones.
Okay.
Like a really big adjustable spanner.
Oh.
Like there's something very cool about just the heft of a really big adjustable
On the
spanner.
very complete opposite end, the little tiny clippers I have for doing Gundam kits so that I can clip the things off the plastic.
Yeah, the little
Like curved clippers.
yeah, for getting them off the sprue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very useful tool.
those are very
But I
useful.
managed a long time without, but now that I have, I can't imagine going back.
Yeah, every time we built one, I was like, why don't you have some proper clippers for the sprue? It's like, we'll get you some of those.
Yay! Yay!
I am glad you have them.
Yeah.
What else? Oh. No, it's gone. Spirit level.
Your favourite
levels
tool
make-
that you've been resisting purchasing.
I know, but they make me very happy because then I can guarantee that things are straight rather than having to try and judge if they're straight.
This is why once I realised you didn't own one, I just bought you one.
I very much appreciate
It's like,
that.
I know you're waiting for them to go on sale, but I'm just going to buy you one. Have a spirit level.
Thank you for my spirit level. I
Mwah.
appreciate it very much. I like the fact that at least one of the pictures in the house was absolutely spot on.
Oh, it was, more than one. I think at least two of them were like,
There was 2 or 3 that were like really, really, really close, but like a degree or so off.
It's the one in the centre of the living room that was perfect.
And then I like the fact that the one on the left and right were ever so slightly angled in towards it. So I guess I've got like fisheye vision or something. I'd stood back from them and gone, no, that looks straight together. And then I'd sort of obviously backed away from them, looked at them individually and gone, no, they're not right. There's something not right and it is burning my mind away. And apparently that was just about a degree. But they're all straight now. They're all perfectly straight. Every single picture in the house is perfectly straight apart from that one. And I'm fine with that because I don't see it very often.
I mean, I can spirit level that. I'm glad that everything around you is straight now. Please don't try and straighten me.
No, I want to gay you. More gaying the wife. Math Tiger asks, what should I order for lunch? Sub. Not like that.
Steamed clams.
Ooh. that
Sorry,
could
steamed
mean so-
hams. Steamed hams is
That
what
could
I
mean
said.
so many things. Yeah, go head to Krusty Burger.
Yeah, get some classic Krusty Burger steamed hams.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Sushi.
Ooh.
Love some sushi. Gyoza. Nom nom, tasty gyoza. Pizza. No, I'm still going with the sandwich. I think it's a lunchtime sandwich. Lots and lots of veggies, the sauce of your choice, and fake chicken. Nom nom nom.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm. Alpha, living in a dungeon, asks, do I buy a faux leather coat? If you want.
Yeah, they can be quite nice.
They can be quite nice. I mean, yeah, do you need a new coat?
I've had some nice faux leather ones in the past.
Yeah. Do you need a coat? That's a coat. There you go. You win. Yeah. If a faux leather coat would make you happy and keep you dry and warm and all the other things people use coats for, yeah, do that. If that's what you desire. And that is all the questions.
Well then, time for this.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Harry. All right, Barry. How you doing?
Oh, I didn't sleep well, mate. I must say I'm feeling a bit, yeah.
Bit ropey today myself.
Yeah. You been up to much?
Oh, just watching self-entitled people, speaking over the minorities, as you do.
Mate. Lot of that about. Yeah.
Particularly today, been watching someone speak over a minority group, just sort of being like, "Oh, you don't want me to speak over you? Well, I've decided I'm gonna do it because that's what I do."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, there's this real issue sometimes with people thinking that they are always the best person to speak on an issue, regardless of whether they have personal experience with that topic themselves. Whether they are entrenched in whether they're going to be affected by the impacts of their decisions, being like, it's fine, I will fix this myself.
I am known as an activist, historically, despite the fact that I have perhaps said some problematic things in the past. Yeah, that sort of thing, yeah.
It's been tiring watching. I wish that particularly, white men would sometimes just go, hey, maybe I don't need to talk about the thing and I can leave the people impacted to talk, or maybe even just promote their voices on certain topics.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a small thing, it's just a grumble I've been grumbling about
it's
today.
quite understandable. I mean, there always seems to be, some white guy who feels like he's got to get right in there, and then, maybe people from the actual oppressed minority will sort of step up and say, hey, we can speak for ourselves, or you're going about this in an actively harmful way, and that's not. It's not really very helpful, or you are doing more harm than good. While we appreciate allies that are, willing to speak up and say, hey, you need to listen. The bit it needs to be, hey, you listen to these people.
Yeah.
Hey, those people deserves rights, and now go and talk to them. But don't expect emotional labour from them. But do better.
Yeah.
Hold people to account, but don't make it all about you, or, feel that you are the authority and have the right to speak about a minority that you aren't.
Yeah.
Hug, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good hug, mate. Good hug. Yeah. Right, I think I'm going to have myself a cup of tea and maybe head to bed.
Oh, I'm having an early night myself.
Nice.
So, Laura,
Me?
where can we find you on the internet?
Laura K-Buzz pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. I do TikToks, you can find me at Laura K-Buzz on TikTok. I do Twitch streaming Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Every Friday I upload episodes of Accessibility over on YouTube. I got books. Uncomfortable Labels, that's out now. Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, that's out now. Gender Euphoria, that's out now. Got some podcasts as well. Pixel Squirt, it's about video game character pornography, you should check it out. Podquisition, we tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. Dice Funk, which we mentioned earlier. It's the Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They're all their own self-contained stories. You can jump in wherever you like. Also, I'm on another podcast with you that isn't this one.
With me? That
Yeah.
would be Polyarmory. It's a D&D 5th edition real play podcast with questionable morals. You've just done something very questionable to an entire city.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to write some special music for the end of that. Hopefully we'll have a new episode of that up soon. We have had some delays because there's been a lot going on in everyone's
Life
lives.
has been occurring.
We are trying to get back on top of that. I make music under the name Bedroom Programmer. You can find that on my SoundCloud. We've got a Facebook group. I've got a Redbubble. You can get Queer and Pleasant Strangers t-shirts, amongst other t-shirt designs that I have done. StoneMonkeyRadio.blog, where I write about board games mostly, and sometimes video games. Thank you to the one person who managed to ping WordPress for me the other day. It's like, you have had a massive uptick in people reading your articles. And it turns out it was just one person who'd read 35 articles. Like, thank you. I hope you're having a good day. I appreciate that. I've got a YouTube channel. It's usually mostly just uploads of unboxing videos from board games that we do once a month. And VODs of my Twitch stream. I have a Twitch. It's Janiac, Janiac. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Patreon. That's the one that pays my bills. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week. That's patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. If you want to get early access to Queer and Pleasant Strangers, for $10 a month, you might have it the same night we record, such as the people did last week. That's how they got it. They got it on Tuesday night. We finished recording. I went downstairs. I edited the whole thing and knocked it straight out to all the good people. All of my links can be found at streamerlinks.com/Janiac. That's JANEIAC. Thank you very much for joining us, Laura. Will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.